So, how many of you think that you have to stop being who you are in order to be married? Guess what? If you do that, you actually will kill your marriage because not being who you are and what I call betraying yourself is never, ever, 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 never necessary for marriage. And this is one of the reasons why I hate the idea of happy wife, happy life, because that implies that only one of you matters. A marriage, a good marriage, is actually the meeting of two equals. And if you, yes, altering your behavior in some ways is going to be necessary. But what happens is if you look at this as I have to stop being who I am, meaning I'm betraying myself in order to have this marriage, you're setting up an internal fight. And guess which one is going to win? Your sense of self is eventually going to come to the forefront because as you give away little pieces of yourself to appease the marriage god, then what you're going to do is you're going to become resentful. And resentment is what kills most marriages. Now, I get it. It's why I don't like the term that I don't like the idea that marriage takes sacrifice and compromise. Now, again, marriage does take adjustment. Two people trying to live together requires some movement on both people's parts. I liken a good marriage to a three-legged race or riding a tandem bicycle. You have to work together in the same way at the same rate to get where you want to go. But it isn't about one of you not existing. And that's what this idea of sacrificing for your marriage or compromising is about. Because what that means is you're actually giving up parts, something that matters to you, right? And it's the giving up that is the problem. If you and your partner sit and talk about what you would like to have, and you don't necessarily agree, and you keep talking about it, and you reach what I call an accommodation, which means you both agree to it, even if left to your own devices, if you weren't with this person, you wouldn't do this thing. But because you are and you have this goal together, you're actually okay with it. That's not really a compromise. That is an agreement. Okay. And that's what we want. But when we have the idea that you have to give up, then there's this internal thing of, oh, the heck, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go all out war with my partner because my partner is trying to force me to do something. Okay. Now, and we do this all the time. I hear this all the time where I don't like the tension that's created when I hold on to my position. So I bail. Or these are the kinds of things that I know are going on when I hear comments like my partner's trying to control me or my partner is manipulative. Okay. You can only be controlled and manipulated if you let yourself. And most of the time people, they cry uncle. They just say, this is too hard. This is too difficult. But when you don't hold to your principles, when you don't stand up for what you say you believe in, then that's betrayal. And your partner isn't doing it to you. You're doing it to yourself. And I get it. I really, really do. Because, my husband has said that he could never win an argument with me because I'm a woman and a therapist. Now, when I heard him say that, I mean, yes, I have admitted before, I can overtalk my husband. And I have to make a concerted effort not to do that because it's not good for our relationship. It might get me what I want in the moment, But what I want is a healthy, happy relationship that lasts, which means I have to manage myself in that moment, right? And my partner, my husband, has just as much right to his opinion and his perspective as I have to mine. And honestly, I don't want him doing things just to, as he likes to say, appease the goddess, right? I don't want to be appeased. You don't want to be appeased. I mean, and you don't want to be doing the appeasing because, as we learned in the 40s, appeasement, or actually 30s, appeasement doesn't work, right? It just feeds the monster. And you don't want to be looking at your partner as a monster. She doesn't want to be being seen as a monster. But this is what happens when you don't hold to what you say matters to you. And I get it. Disagreeing with your partner is not pleasant, right? But no two people are going to agree about everything. And by the way, if one person is always agreed with, they actually are probably going to become pretty unbearable to live with, right? And a lot of times, your partner doesn't even know that you are in disagreement. Now, it may be possible that things have been so unpleasant over the years that you just decide, yep, I got to give. But you're doing damage and you're betraying yourself. And the one thing that I do know is that when push comes to shove, if somebody feels like if they keep going down this pathway, they're going to stop being who they are, then they're not going to go down that pathway. And this might come as a surprise to your partner. And some of this might even be surprising to you because, we've heard marriage takes compromise and sacrifice. No, it does not. It takes negotiation. And you have the right to negotiate from the position of who you are, right? If you're an introvert, you don't have to defend being an introvert. If you are an artist, you don't have to defend being an artist. That's how you function, right? What needs to happen is room needs to be made for all of these things. And, people, I don't, people don't like conflict. They think that if they and their partner disagree, it's going to be conflict. Nope, just a disagreement. And it only becomes conflict if you don't have a way to negotiate. And throwing in the towel and sacrificing yourself on the marriage field of battle is not going to make you have a healthy marriage. Now, if you want some help with this, if you want to learn how to stand in your integrity, to not betray yourself, then I'm happy to talk to you about it. Please just go ahead and put a comment down below or send me a direct message or email me at Lesli, Lesli, at foundationscoachingnc.com to find out how to do this. Because you standing up for yourself, honoring who you are, is actually, believe it or not, the way to get your partner to respect you. Now, you don't want to do it in a harsh or obnoxious way, but you do want to do it in a clear and definitive way, not from a place of apology, but from a place of, you know what, this is who I am. This is how I want to be in the world. And I'm okay with that. Now, ideally, you want that to be your best self because a good marriage actually does that. A good marriage challenges us to be our best selves. And how we meet that challenge is going to determine the outcome. So hopefully you have found this helpful. And as I said before, if you want some help with this, just get in touch. So until next week, stay loving.